What's up, guys? I'm Anthony Totri. We're going to be talking all things Big 12, of course. Erik, you look a little different today.
Just got a little tan.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Guys, join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined by the real Erik Ruby. Erik,
Hey.
you look a little paler than you did at the cold open.
Did I?
Yeah, just a tad.
I looked a lot tanner, a lot shorter.
Just a
Too.
Wow.
Shorter.
Wow. That's the hall
Like half
monitor.
the size.
And we have Captain Redbeard behind the Mac. He is making all of the magic happen, guys. We have set sail for the bye week. We got Chad Johnson in the chat. We got Fort Mike 24. We got BC. Do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Erik,
Hey.
what's up today, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
You chilling?
I'm good. I'm ready to call out all the frauds in the Big 12.
Really? Are you now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You think there's a lot of them?
I mean, there was a pretender at the beginning of the show. There was a fraud at the beginning of the show. Now the contender
It's
is
almost
here.
like you saw what I was working with on
Yeah.
the Pretender. And
Yeah,
Contender
you're putting it
thing.
together.
I mean,
You
I
guys
had
are
it.
also matching, which is really cute.
Well, he had a different shirt on.
I mean, you guys are basically matching.
We're pretty much twins. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see.
No, how are you, though?
says, I'm all right. I'm surviving. I got a lot going on today.
Yeah, you got a busy
I
day.
got a busy day. But it's all good. Always got time for everybody here at PHNX for the PHNX Sun Devils show. And we are zooming out. We're zooming out of Arizona State a tad, and we're going to be taking a look at the Big 12 as a whole, right? On yesterday's show, we talked about some Sun Devils that needed to be better at position groups, and we talked about some guys that have really overperformed. But today's show, we're going to kind of do that for the entire Big 12.
Okay.
But team by team basis, who's a contender, who is a pretender through 4 weeks of the season. And at the tail end of the show,
Oh.
we've got some hot seats.
Hot seats.
We got some hot seats, okay, that we'll get into as well. So definitely stay locked in. Grab yourself a Circle K snack. Got these Wrigley sour worms that I really, really want to eat, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I really want to eat them.
So,
Will
you
you
know
have
you
one?
have free will, right?
Will you have one with me?
I'll have one with you.
You have one?
I'll have one with you.
Captain Redbeard, will you have one with me? At the start of the show, he was super hesitant to have one.
I'll do it for the show.
He'll do
Ah,
it for
put
the
him on the
show.
spot.
There we go.
Put him
Okay.
on the spot.
We'll get to it, but we'll get to it when we start talking about Circle K. Seem
Yeah,
fair?
we'll get there. That's a tease.
That's a tease. All right, let's get into it.
Sure.
The Arizona Wildcats. The Arizona Wildcats at the start of the season, my goodness, you couldn't slow them down.
No,
Brent
according
Brennan-
to Wildcats fans, they were the greatest team on earth.
They really were. They really were. Brent Brennan, Noah Fafita, T-Mac, Takario Davis. And, well, what's it been for the start of the season? Well, the Arizona Wildcats currently sit at 2-1, had a bye week last week. Rocky start against New Mexico. They ended up getting it done. Same thing with NAU, only 22-10 in that contest. And then they absolutely got curb stomped by the Kansas State Wildcats. Erik, contender or pretender?
Oh, easily contender. Psych. No, they're pretenders, and the reason why you say pretender is because of how they had their expectations. And if you saw how they, as in the Wildcats fans, are acting about this team, they've already moved on to basketball season.
They really have.
They've already said, you know what, basketball season's not that far away. We're gonna have a great team. I love Tommy Lloyd, and it's like, whoa, hold up a second, Chief. Hold up a second, Chief. It's your bye week. You're 3 or 4 weeks in, and you're just giving up.
Yeah.
You're just done. I mean, they haven't shown any signs of progressing. If anything, they've shown signs of regression through 3 weeks. Again, your 2 weeks against New Mexico and NAU left so many questions. A polar opposite 2-0 start than, let's just say, let's pick a random team like the Arizona State Sun Devils. Polar opposite start. And then you go and you get demolished against Kansas State, who promptly goes and gets demolished by BYU.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Pretenders.
Yeah.
Pretenders. Now, you want to say, oh, they're at the top end of pretenders? Fine. they're still pretenders.
I feel like even if you want to say, I don't feel like there's a top or a bottom end of pretender or contender, right? When I tweeted this out, there was a devil emoji and there was a clown emoji. You're either a devil or you are a clown.
There are two types of people in this world,
and
devils and clowns.
At the end of the day, that's what Arizona is. They're pretenders in this conference. I think there was a lot of people that thought that they were going to be able to bring in the San Jose State King and Brennan, and they were going to be able to turn their circus into a castle. But you brought him in, and he was just another clown.
And isn't like San Jose State like better this year?
They are. And I think they have the nation's leading receiver.
That's tough. That's tough. Fort Mike in the chat says, as a Wildcat fan, I have not moved to basketball yet. We lost a non-con game to Kansas State. We are far from moving on this year. That was our mulligan game. This Utah game will determine if the Cats are pretenders or contenders. I think it is fair if you do go out and you dominate Utah, which I don't think will happen, but let's say you do, then that's a different conversation. But
yeah, absolutely.
At this moment, right here, right now,
pretenders.
Until you prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Pretenders. And to be fair, I would have said contenders at the start of the season. I would have too. Not as good of a team as Wildcats fans thought they had, but I have changed my mind about them. This is not just like prejudice. Like they have played so bad, I have changed my mind about them.
They're stinky.
Whew.
Ugh. Stinky kitty. JJB in the chat, football show, love the football team, but let's recognize first official men's basketball practice of the season was on Monday. It was, I believe the Big 12 tweeted that there's going to be some announcements in terms of schedule stuff going on Thursday. So definitely be on the lookout. Make sure you follow PHNX Sun Devils on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. We will definitely get into all of that. But moving right along to our next team, it's the team that's next on the Arizona Wildcats schedule, and that is none other than Utah, sitting at number 10 currently in the AP top 25, a team, Erik, that we have been pretty high on since the announcement of the move to the Big 12 from the Pac-12. This is a team in Utah that's, it's been interesting to see them play their first 4 games. Obviously, some changes with the quarterback situation, the injury to Cam Rising. But at the end of the day, this team is a top 10 team in the nation. They are 4-0, and they just beat arguably one of the best teams in this conference in Oklahoma State, 22-19. That score is a lot closer than it really should have been.
So you're saying contender?
I'm saying the contender.
The contender. It's always Utah.
Yeah.
Like, it's always been Utah. You know that meme where it's like, what? Blah, 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 blah. And then it's the astronaut behind them with the gun, and it's like, always has been.
It's always Utah.
It's like, oh, is Oklahoma State? Is it Kansas State? Is it Kansas? Is it Arizona? It's always been Utah. It's always been Utah. Yeah, if Fort Mike in the chat says Utah will always be a contender.
As long as Whittingham's there.
Yeah, I've noticed something about the Big 12 this year.
Indulge
me for a second.
I'll indulge you.
This has been the Pac-12ification.
The Pac-12ification.
Of the Big 12. Because this conference is eating itself alive. BYU just beat Kansas State after Kansas State dominated Arizona. Utah's beating Oklahoma State. But Utah just rises to the top. Utah somehow, some ways.
They rise to the top.
It's always Utah.
Cam Rising?
Yeah, it's always Utah.
There's a pun in there.
There's
a pun in there somewhere.
The Pac-12ification of the Big 12.
That's fair. I'm here for it. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. Utah is definitely a contender. Moving on to a sneaky team.
Ooh.
A sneaky team that I'm interested to see where you put them. BYU. BYU is a team that, again, there wasn't a lot of expectation, I think, going into this conference. But as it stands right now, they're tied for the conference lead in first place with Utah. 4-0, obviously had a really dominant win over Kansas State last week, 38-9. You look at their previous opponents. They won week 1, 41-13. They were on the road against SMU week 2. They won 18-15. Mind you, SMU just smacked TCU.
They put up like almost 70 on them.
Yeah, I think 66 points.
Yeah.
And then week 3, they were on the road against Wyoming, 34-14. We obviously know a thing about Wyoming, given what happened week 1 to them versus Arizona State. Is BYU, are they a contender or pretender in the Big 12?
As of right now, you can't put them in pretender.
No, I don't think
before they played Kansas State, I think you could make an argument. Because at that point, SMU would have also not gone and beat the brakes off of TCU.
Yeah, that's
right. but they've done this in convincing fashion.
Yeah.
And sure, Kansas State made a lot of mistakes that game, but BYU also just played like the better football team.
Yeah.
So I think you have to put them in the contender status until they do anything that takes them out of it.
I think that's fair. They're definitely a contender in my eyes. They are a very one-dimensional offense. Their leading rusher is their quarterback, who's got 103 total yards on the season rushing.
Yeah.
So this is not a team that really tries to run the football too much. They know they're going to let you know that they're passing it, and they're just going to do it anyways.
Right. And they do it well.
They have done it well up to this point. And again, I don't think there's really anything that you can say or prove that this team isn't a contender. Now, the contenders do have to take care of the pretenders, right?
Yes.
So BYU, they've got Baylor and they've got Arizona before they take on Oklahoma State. If you want to be a real contender, you got to go start the season 6-0.
I mean, 6-0.
6-0 for BYU is crazy.
6-0. BYU ranked 22 right now. Oklahoma State ranked 20th. They could be ranked higher than Oklahoma State by the time that they meet 3 weeks from now.
They could be.
Oklahoma
State could be out of the top 25.
Yeah, depending on how things go for them. I don't even care about the running at this point. Like, I think they're the lowest among the contenders. I would probably say, like, I'd have the least amount of faith in them to win the conference out of most of the people that I'll say are contenders. A majority of teams I'm going to probably put as pretenders.
Okay.
I feel like. But they're still in the contender status, and I think they also have room to continue to grow and go up. I mean, I had them, second or third in my power rankings. I had them pretty dang high.
I think you had them second.
I had them pretty dang high.
Which to me is still crazy.
I had them second. I had
them
Utah,
4.
I had Utah, BYU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State.
That's crazy.
You can't not put them as contenders.
I mean, yeah. Not when you put them number 2 in your power rankings.
No.
All right, moving on. Give me Iowa State. Give me the Cyclones. Rocco, yeah. Give me Rocco. Elmo's least favorite quarterback in college football. They dominated North Dakota. Start season 21-3. Week 2, they had their rivalry matchup against a then-ranked Iowa squad. They beat them on a game-winning last-second field goal, 20-19, and then after the bye week, dominated Arkansas State 52-7. They're 3-0 as it stands right now, number 18 in the nation, and they have themselves a cakewalk for the next 3 weeks. They've got Houston, Baylor, and then West Virginia, another team that could very well start the season 6-0. Iowa State, contender or pretender?
Oh, they're a contender.
Yeah.
And even beyond the next 3 weeks after that, they have 2 tough games, both at home, though, against UCF and Texas Tech. Then they take on Kansas, Cincinnati. And then you end the season tough. So Utah, Kansas State. So out of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9 remaining games for them, they play 4 good teams.
And who are the 4?
The 4, and they're winnable games. UCF, Texas Tech, Utah, and Kansas State. All winnable games.
Yeah. The Utah game is
Utah's the least winnable, but I mean, you're ranked number 18, you're going to probably be in the top 25 for the whole year unless something goes drastically wrong. You have a chance.
Yeah.
You'll have a chance to
definitely. I think this is a team in Iowa State that there are 3 teams right now that I think are in the conversation for the Big 12 title game.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked now about 2.
Yeah.
Utah and Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
There is one other team that we'll get to, I think, in the second segment. And we'll see.
We could talk about Cincinnati. I'm kidding.
Stop it. Iowa State, contender. Again, if you've been listening to the PHNX Sun Devils show for a while, we've been pretty high on Iowa State going into the season. There have been some people that didn't think that Rocco Becht was very good. I don't know why. But I think he's clearly proving everybody wrong on that front. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to West Virginia.
Pretender.
Yeah, that's how you got for him. Any reason behind it?
Have you watched them?
I have. I watched them specifically against Penn State. They looked pretty bad. And
they've had multiple blown leads.
Yeah, I mean they're not.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost to Pitt. They were up in that
game. They beat Kansas, but Kansas looked terrible. They beat Albany. It's Albany. It's not Troy, but it's Albany. You lose to Penn State, and then you lose to Pitt too. And then the Pitt loss was bad. That was a bad loss.
They were winning that game.
They were. and then Pitt came back.
So this just goes to prove that last year was a fluke for West Virginia, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're 2-2. Sure. 1-0 in conference play, so technically they're tied for first in the conference.
But they're a pretender.
They're a pretender, and they're also about to play Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State 3 weeks in a row. Then you have a little bit of a reprieve, Arizona, Cincinnati, Baylor, and then you end the season with UCF and Texas Tech.
Oh, they're going to be bad.
Yeah,
they're going to have such a bad season.
They should. I don't know. Actually, Cincinnati's been okay.
Cincinnati's been decent.
Cincinnati's been okay, so you can't chalk that up as an easy win, but they definitely have a chance to beat Cincinnati, and they certainly have a chance to beat Baylor. Right.
Everybody has a chance to beat Baylor.
Yeah.
The way that they're coaching that program right now.
Yeah. Well, you might be facing a different coach by the third to last week of the season.
Maybe.
But
you might.
Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, you're looking at realistically a 2-5 start to the season for them and 1-3 in Big 12 play. Arizona should beat them. Arizona should be a better team than them. I'm not going to say it's nearly as guaranteed as the 3 games before, but you could be looking at a 2-6 record. Beat Cincinnati, you're looking at 3-6. You beat Baylor 4-6. UCF and Texas Tech are better than you. You could have a 4-8 season.
Yeah, it's not good
for them.
Sharing in the chat, can we trade schedules with some of these other schools? LOL, not saying we are better than them, but our schedule is just rough, especially while still trying to rebuild. Yeah, it's definitely trial by fire for Arizona State in the first season of the Big 12. Definitely some tough stretches. Arizona State got out of the first 4 games, 3-1. We'll definitely get into Arizona State here in just a little bit, but I want to get to the next one. Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State for me is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Alan Bowman at quarterback. This is a team in Oklahoma State that only lost by a handful of points to Utah. But again, if you were watching that game, Utah pretty much dominated them from the opening kickoff. And this is an Oklahoma State team that at certain points this season has not been able to get Ollie Gordon going. They're 3-1 overall. They dominated Tulsa. They went back and forth with Arkansas. Arkansas was leading that game for some time. And then South Dakota State, they won by 24 points. Next opponent, though, on the road, taking on Kansas State, a get-right game for really both those teams. Where do you have Oklahoma State, Erik?
Right now, I have a contender. If they lose to Kansas State, I'll probably drop them down. But I know that the game wasn't as close as the score. You still only lost by 3 to Utah, right? And that's the best team in the conference. That's easily the biggest contender in the conference as well. And you dominate before that, too. I mean, you put up a lot of points. I think maybe the biggest story in the Big 12 that I feel like is honestly not even getting talked about that much, and maybe that's just because we do ASU stuff, Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, nothing.
This guy was a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
250,
best running back in the country.
258 yards on 73 carries, 3.5 yards per attempt, the longest of 22.
Yeah, not good.
No.
He's had a rough start to the season.
Yeah.
But again, I think that what a lot of defenses are doing, knowing that Ollie Gordon is the guy, is they're loading the box, right? You load the box and you say, hey, if Alan Bowman's going to go out there and beat us, we can live with that. And that's what he's done. Alan Bowman, through 4 games, has already thrown for over 1,100 yards.
That's a lot of yards.
10 touchdowns, 4 INTs. He's already had 145 attempts through 4 games. He's throwing the football a lot, and he's doing it pretty well, to be honest with you. He's only been sacked 1 time so far this season. So defenses are knowing, I think, going into their matchup that you have to shut down Ollie Gordon, and Alan Bowman's carving him up.
I know, but again, they scored 44, 39, 45 in the first 3 weeks, and they scored 19 against Utah, so that might be a little bit of an outlier there. But that's averaging over 40 points per game through your first 3 weeks, and Ollie Gordon hasn't even touched 300 yards.
Yeah, which, I mean,
that's crazy.
Could be scary.
But that, again, you say, oh, they know to stop Ollie Gordon. Well, if they're still putting up over 40 points per game passing, eventually you're going to not focus on the run as much. And I wonder what happens with this team if Ollie Gordon does find his footing.
Could be scary.
If Ollie Gordon does have some sort of, he won't get the Heisman now. It's too slow of a start for him to catch up counting stat-wise. But to play like a Heisman candidate, to where if he said, let's say he plays the rest of this season like a Heisman candidate, and if he did that for a full season, he'd be in there, right? Like this team could be really scary.
Could be.
Really scary.
But you figure this is a team now that has already lost to Utah. If you lose to Kansas State now, then you're going to start having a problem, because this is where you've gotten to the point where you're going to start to see some of these ranked teams go head-to-head in this conference, that when it comes to Big 12 championship time at the end of the season, and you got the 2 best teams in the conference, Oklahoma State already doesn't hold the tiebreaker over Utah. Can they really afford to lose again to another team that's going to be fighting for a Big 12 title at the end of the season.
Two funny comments. Well, funny comments when you go back to back. So Sharon says, how's the Oklahoma State offensive line? Could that be affecting Ollie Gordon
They're
also?
old.
And then Ralph says, six-year seniors on the offensive line and they can't run block. Crying emoji. It is
he's
true.
Not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oklahoma
the
State
oldest
was
offensive line I think in the nation.
Yeah, Oklahoma State was one of those teams where it's like they brought everybody back, but even last year they sucked. So it was like, okay, you brought everybody back, awesome, and none of them were that good.
No, not at all.
I think this week Kansas State, Oklahoma State is the Contender Pretender Bowl.
The Contender Pretender Bowl.
Yeah,
that's a.
The winner's a contender, the loser's a pretender.
I don't know if.
Walk with me.
I mean, I'll hold your hand, but I don't know if I'm walking with you.
So then what are you doing?
Just holding your hand.
But if you're not walking with me, then that doesn't happen.
What do you mean? You don't have to walk to hold someone's hand.
You do with me.
That's lame.
I don't know. So you don't think so? Yeah, I think if we're just giving out titles to people after however many weeks, I'd say right now Oklahoma State's a contender.
Contender.
I think they're on the line because, I mean, they've played one good team and they lost. Mm-hmm. But if they handle Kansas State, I think Kansas State then comes out as a pretender because you're losing to BYU and Oklahoma State. But if you're losing in convincing fashion, that's not what contenders do. And I think Oklahoma State establishes themselves there. On the flip side, if Kansas State comes out and dominates Oklahoma State, they kind of revamp, like you said, a get-right game for them.
Yeah.
And they're now back in the contenders.
I think we figured out how you beat Kansas State. It's you just got to go on social media and claim you're going to do some odd things with a burrito. I think that's how you get past them.
Oh, man.
Right? Is that not the recipe for success? Live
oh,
Moss
man.
is what they said, right?
Oh, man.
That's all you got to do.
Tell you what, not looking forward to taking on Kansas State this year.
I don't know if you read the fine print of your contract, buddy. But
I don't know why that's falling on me. I don't know why that's falling on me.
Well, it's not falling on you.
No. Yeah. I guess that is the way to beat Kansas State. So we have to brainstorm what we will be doing.
There you go. Sometimes that's all it takes, you know,
but
a little creativity.
I think either way it gets pushed. So I'm going to put Oklahoma State in contender right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, you want to get to Arizona State?
Early.
Let's do it early. Well, I don't want to, we always keep the people waiting. I want to give them what they came here for, right? And all the other stuff.
I'm going to let you go first.
Arizona State. Your Sun Devils are 3-1 through 4 games. Second year of a rebuild. Cam Skattebo, a top 4 rusher in this conference. This defense has been really, really good through the first 4 games of the season. Opening conference play. Now you lose to Texas Tech. I'll say it once because I've said it a million times at this point. This defense has been really solid. I know they gave up 30 points to Tech, but in the blink of an eye, they were down 14-0. Only give up 16 points the rest of that game. While injured. And I know this is going to come across, I think, as biased, but I think based off of where this team is at right now, I know you said that you thought BYU was or Oklahoma State was at the last bar of contender. I think Arizona State is the last team in the contender realm, to be honest with you. Because this is a team that I expect them to beat Kansas.
Okay.
That puts them at 4-1. And then they've got Utah. That's if you want to have a contender bowl, there you go. That's the game for Arizona State to tell me if you're good or not. But I think if you start through 5 games of the season, 4-1, you beat Texas State. That's a good team on the road. You lose a tough battle to Tech, and then you come home, get right, beat Kansas, and you've dominated your early opponents that you had. I think this team's a contender. Now, if we're going rankings here, and there's 8 contenders and there's 8 pretenders.
Is that what we're doing?
It's
half
8.
and half?
I don't think we have to, but I think if you're doing that, I think it's 8.
I'm torn. Because I think they're definitely on the line. They're definitely on the line. But when I think contender, I think, can they win the Big 12 this year? And I'm struggling to see if they're in that category. How about this? I know that we're talking about ASU now.
You want to give your answer at the tail end of the show?
I'd like to revisit and discuss who else we have as contenders and pretenders.
Okay, that's fair. I'll let you do that. I'll let you be a little baby
Thank
about
you.
it. And you can do it at the tail end of the
Bro,
show.
don't call me a little baby.
Houston. Do we really need to talk about Houston?
Contender.
Can we just on
Yeah,
three,
they-
1, 2, 3,
Pretender.
Yeah, it's not even close. You're the worst team in the conference. You should be demoted to D2 football. You're that bad, to be completely honest. with you.
Jeez.
You're horrible. I would rather watch paint dry than Houston football.
Wow. I would rather watch football, but that's just me, I guess. I guess I just love ball.
You love ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Look, we're going to get to the last 8 schools, but we're going to do it on the other side of this break. Now we're going to tell you about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. One thing to always keep in mind, guys, when we're talking about Gila River Resorts and Casinos, what is it, Erik?
It's the best.
It's the best, and nobody does it better than our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have a ton of different locations. My personal favorite, Wild Horse Pass. Do you have a personal favorite location, Erik?
It's Wild Horse Pass, but because I'm biased, because we do a lot of our events there.
That's fair. We do a lot of our events over there, guys. They have a ton of different ways for you to leave their casino a winner. We're talking about over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of their sports books, guys. Like Erik said, we're always hosting a ton of events over there, including Cards and Sons, watch parties, and more. So stay tuned for info on how you guys can come hang with us. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Got some shade being thrown in the chat right now. Some at me, some at Totri. Clint says, "Aw, a little baby." And I'll tell you what, I am a little baby when it comes to the sun. Okay? Could you tell?
Widow baby.
Could you tell? But not just when it comes to the paleness of it. I actually do enjoy stepping out into the sun, but when it comes to how it affects my eyes, I don't know what I got sensitive eyes, man. That means my sunglasses are so important, and that's why I always trust Shady Rays. I'm trusting Shady Rays right here, right now. And over 300,000 people are right along with me in rating this company independent, yet 5 stars. They have everything: a world-class product, polarized frames, crystal clear optics, durable frames, different designs, everything that you need, plus the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Whether it's lost or broken, you get a replacement, and even a shopping worry-free part of it as well, where you can exchange a new pair or return it within 30 days, no risk. And if for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season, head to shadyrays.com, use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Joe in the chat. I have 3 Brandon Bills hats now that the 3rd delivered today. Am I allowed in here? Yes, absolutely.
You were allowed before, but now you're extra allowed.
Joey, what'd I do to you, man?
Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
Joey said, I'd rather watch Totri grab something from the top shelf than watch Houston football.
He followed it up and called you very handsome.
Hey, just now. Just when we called him out, man. I didn't do nothing to you, Joe.
He said he's sorry. It just came to the dome, and Totri, you're very handsome.
Well, shucks.
That's nice.
Shucks, thanks.
That's
man.
nice.
Appreciate that.
He could have doubled down.
I mean, I can get stuff off the top shelf. I just got to stand on my tippy toes. That's all.
Do you have like a little step in your house?
That's why they call. That's why my last name's Totri, dude. Because I'm always standing on my tippy toes. That's what it is. No.
All right. What's the next team? What's the next team? What's the
you
next
tell
team?
me. I got them all listed there. You pick one.
Let's do Colorado.
Let's do the stupid Buffaloes, huh? Those guys stink. That's all I got.
So you don't have them as contenders.
Colorado is an interesting program. I don't think Colorado is very good. However, they are better than the worst teams in this conference.
Sure.
They're better than Houston. They're better than West Virginia. They're better than Baylor. So, in the same realm that I tell you that I think Arizona State is the final contender, I think Colorado might be the last pretender.
Or the first pretender.
The first pretender.
Yeah.
I think them and Arizona are probably tied.
I don't hate that.
Travis Hunter is really good at football.
They're not a bad team.
No, they just have a bad coach.
And they're not as good as Colorado fans think they are. Hey, listen, I understand that was an incredible game against Baylor. Like,
it shouldn't have been, though. Baylor was dominating.
It was improbable victory. And I know people were giving them crap for rushing the field. It's Colorado, dude. What kind of success have they seen? They're going to rush the field at every moment that they get. I'm not too mad about that because I'm just pro having fun. But that game was not supposed to be like that.
No, it
You should not
wasn't.
have needed a last-second Hail Mary.
Baylor gave it away.
Yeah.
Baylor gave it away. Colorado didn't win that game. Baylor literally said, "Oh, you look cute. Here you go. Here's a game," and gave it to him. Up 3 scores.
Dave Aranda said, "I don't really want to do this anymore."
Yeah, he said, that's literally what he said. You know what? We might be winning by too much. I might have to continue coaching through 2024. Here you go, Deion. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, I'm looking for a little paid vacation.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
So we'll
the
call
bald
them-
man in Baylor gave it away.
They are not a bad team. They're not a contender.
No, they're a
So
pretender.
we'll give them pretender.
They're a
We'll give them
pretender
pretender.
for sure.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do Baylor next?
Let's do Baylor next.
Okay.
Baylor, also like Houston, stinky poo-poo.
Stinky.
Give me 3 things that are worse on planet Earth than Baylor football.
No.
Do it.
No.
Come on. 3 things that are just as bad as Baylor football.
Death.
Okay.
You want bad
Kind of
things?
depends how you look at it, but sure. I'll give you death. Could be a fresh start. You never know.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, Kyle, you give me one.
Taxes.
Taxes?
There you go.
Okay. Death,
Fight
taxes.
big government, Kyle.
Okay. One more.
Max
What's
Simpson.
one thing that's...
Max
No,
Simpson.
Max is better than Baylor football. Ooh, I got one. One thing worse than Baylor football, after you go to the bathroom, you try and wash your hands, and there's no more soap. You ran out of soap.
That's
Or you
pretty
go to
bad.
the bathroom, and there's no toilet paper.
That's even worse.
There you go. That's way worse than Baylor football.
Yeah.
But that might be it. Those might
Those
be
might- the
worse
only
things
three-
outside of Baylor football.
Death, taxes, and no toilet paper.
Yeah. Oh, Sharon with a good one. Houston football. That's so true. That is so true. I'm bummed. I didn't think of that. Yeah, Baylor is a
Big pretender.
and we'll be talking about Baylor a little bit in our next segment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just disgusting, to be honest with you. Where do you want to go next?
Let's do UCF.
UCF. My goodness, RJ Harvey is a dog.
Yeah.
I love that guy. KJ Jefferson, though, hasn't been the greatest quarterback for them.
No.
He's been like a third running back for UCF. I think Penny Boone is the other running back that they have at UCF. Also been really, really good through the first few games of the season. UCF undefeated. They haven't really run into anybody yet that's given them a problem. Earlier in the show, I said there were 3 teams in this conference that looked like they could be competing for a Big 12 title. We talked about Iowa State. We talked about Utah. And UCF is my 3rd team. Going to be interesting. They've got Colorado at home. And they are, I believe, a 2-touchdown favorite over the Buffs.
They need to handle business the next 3 weeks to really solidify. I think they're absolutely a contender right now. But on paper, look, they beat New Hampshire. Congratulations.
They killed
Okay. Killed who?
New Hampshire.
Yeah, finish the sentence before you act like it's the most impressive thing in the world.
57-3.
It's New Hampshire. They don't even have footballs in New Hampshire.
57-3.
Anyway, 57-3. Then they beat Sam Houston 45-14. TCU game was close. The TCU game was really close.
It shouldn't have been that close,
Yeah,
though.
but it
Wasn't
was.
UCF? Yeah, TCU was winning that game.
They had to come back and win that game.
They did, though. It's because
They won.
TCU's stinky.
They won, and I will give them that.
Can't
but
cook.
if it's a close game against Colorado and a close game against Florida, then it's you might be looking at not going as much into the contender status. But if they dominate Colorado, dominate Florida, they should dominate the next 3 weeks. They should start 6-0. They should.
They should.
They should beat Colorado. They should beat Florida. They should beat Cincinnati.
They should.
Then you take on Iowa State, BYU back to back. That's your first real test.
Then
in the
the
season.
Arizona schools.
Then Arizona, then Arizona State. You only have, I would say, 4 real tests the
All
rest
year.
of the season.
Iowa State,
all year.
BYU, Utah,
Arizona State.
and Arizona
Utah.
State. I give you that. PHNX Sports answering Sharon's question of when do Baylor and Houston play. November 23rd is the Big 12 Bad Bowl. I'll
be locked in for that one.
Yeah. Well,
So-
November 23rd, we got some fun stuff.
We're
not saying anything about it. but
Maybe
we
I
got-
won't be locked in.
We got some real fun stuff.
Maybe I'll be locked in somewhere else.
some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Max
That-
knows. Max knows.
That's a tease.
Max knows. We got some fun stuff. We can't say nothing, but
We won't say nothing until we can.
nice.
Thanks.
Good stuff.
Contenders for now.
Contender, yes, I'm way higher on them than you are, though.
Yeah, I'm high on them, but I'm not like I'm not like, whoa, they could win the conference.
Yeah, you don't got that dispo stuff. You got your street high on them.
Okay, sure. William basically says what I'm saying. UCF hasn't played anybody. I'll pump the brakes on making them one of 3 teams competing to make the championship game. I think they are better than what I expected to see out of them so far. I think they deserve credit for that. Let's see how they handle the next 3 weeks against opponents that they should beat, and then what they do against Iowa State before we get a real feel about UCF. But you're right. RJ Harvey, absolute dog. I'm imagining a team that has all the running backs from the Big 12 just out on offense.
You know,
every single one.
What I think I'm going to do for PHNX plays this week?
What?
Is I'm going to do a random like generator, and I'm going to, with all 16 of the Big 12 running backs, I'm going to swap them on different teams.
Put them on different teams.
And see how they do.
I think it'd be really fun to just put out an offense of Big 12 running backs. Like
Just
offensive line, wide receivers, quarterback.
Big 12 running backs?
Yeah.
Where's Cam Cook playing?
Oh, he's starting.
He's starting at running back?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the best of them all. Breakout player of the year.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so we've done Colorado. We've done UCF. We have done Baylor. Let's go ahead. Let's do another stinky poo-poo school. TCU. Does that work? The Horned Frogs?
Pretender.
TCU is certainly a pretender. Their fans, I will give their fans credit. They have been all up in my mentions every week. I do a power ranking saying that they don't belong as low as they are. You guys are awful. You barely beat Stanford, okay? You barely beat a group of nerds. Congratulations to open the season. Then Long Island, it's a drink, okay? Not a school, okay?
Who would win?
45-0 them.
New Hampshire or Long Island?
I think the world would collapse. I think the world would collapse if those two played in football. There would be a solid 7 people in that section.
Sorry, I know I'm interrupting you. Do you know Long Island's their mascot?
The Drunkies.
No.
The fighting.
It's a pretty sick mascot. Not many football teams.
The Unicorns?
The Sharks.
The Long Island Sharks.
Long Island University Sharks, 0-4.
That's tough. That is super tough. UCF, you lose that game when you're winning. And then congratulations, the SMU Mustangs absolutely, I mean, they turned in a basketball score. They scored 66 points against you. Now you've got Houston. Oh, no, you've got Kansas this week. Then you have Houston. If Kansas loses this game.
If TCU loses to either of these teams.
I think they might lose to Kansas.
Yeah, I think it's a close game.
Close game, but they're both bad teams.
I wouldn't be surprised if either of them lost. I'd actually be more surprised if either won. I think we might have our first double loss in the Big 12.
2 teams losing.
2 teams losing.
Pretender for sure.
TCU, Kansas, yeah.
So what do we have? I just want to do a head count real quick.
Let's do it.
We have how many pretenders?
Okay, I'll list off the pretenders you count.
Okay.
Arizona, West Virginia,
2,
Houston.
3.
Are we putting Oklahoma State?
They're a contender.
Okay, so just 3 from the first segment because we're not decided on ASU. Okay. Colorado, TCU, Baylor,
and Houston.
So
7.
Baylor and Houston, so 7.
So
and we still have Kansas State, Cincinnati, Texas Tech.
And you need to decide about Arizona State.
And I need to decide about ASU.
You need to get it together. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I need from you. Let's go ahead. Let's do Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a oddball of a program so far this season. They, as it stands right now, are still, 1-0 in conference. They're 3-1 overall on the season. Their only loss so far came to Pitt. However, they haven't really played anybody. Mm-hmm. They played Towson, Miami of Ohio, and they absolutely slaughtered Houston. I think that was a game where we determined, just how bad Houston was.
Yeah.
They beat Houston 34-0. Overall, though, Cincinnati doesn't really scare me as a program. I'm interested to see who they have next. They've got Tech on the road, UCF on the road, then Arizona State. We could be looking at Cincinnati losing 3 straight.
They should lose their next 4 games.
They should lose
at least their next 3.
They should lose 6 of their next 7.
You think they'd beat West Virginia?
Yeah.
They only have 2 games.
They should only win 2 more
for the rest of the year. Yeah.
I think they're a pretender.
Yeah.
I'm not putting them in a contender.
Absolutely a pretender. Not the best 3-1 team in the conference.
Saying it with your chest.
Worst 3-1 team in the conference.
You go. How many 3-1 teams are there in
Cincinnati,
the conference?
Colorado, Texas Tech, West Virginia.
Arizona State.
West Virginia's 2-2. Kansas State, Arizona State, Oklahoma State. It's so weird. The Big 12 standings on ESPN throw me off because it's like the conference record and your regular record. So yeah, 3-1 is Cincinnati, Colorado, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Arizona State, Oklahoma State. And Cincinnati is comfortably
the worst
team.
Yeah, I'm here for that. All right, a few more schools. Give me Tech. You tell me about Tech here.
I think Tech's a contender.
Really?
I think as of right now, they're a better team than Arizona State. I mean, they beat Arizona State. Mm-hmm. Their offense
Does that mean they're better?
That's usually...
Well, I don't know if it is because if you played the game 10 times out of 10, do you think Tech wins every time?
I think that the way that both teams played last weekend, I think if you played it 10 times, Tech wins a majority of the time.
Okay. Then that would mean that they're better in your eyes.
Now going forward through the rest of the season, I think that Tech and ASU are pretty close.
Yeah.
But considering they just faced off head-to-head and Tech won, and obviously ASU shot themselves in the foot, which isn't exactly like kudos to ASU for doing that. Mm-hmm. I think you have to put Tech above ASU as of right now. So if you have ASU as a contender, I think you should also have Texas Tech as a contender. I think it wouldn't make sense if we're judging everybody based off the first 3 to 4 weeks, or the first 3 to 4 games that they've played. I don't think it would make sense to have Texas Tech lower than ASU. As of right now.
I hear what you're saying.
By the end of the season, it could be a different conversation.
Whose loss is worse, Tech's to Washington State or Arizona State's to Tech?
Tech was missing their best offensive player against Washington State, and Washington State's also a pretty decent team. But it wasn't as close. I would say probably the Tech loss is worse, but again, Texas Tech still beat ASU. Like, that matters. Yeah, head-to-head matters.
Can we be real? Is BYU a better team than Kansas State?
They might be.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think they are.
To completely write that off when they just dog walk them.
Yeah, I mean, live Moss.
Like, you can't.
I told you, you need to do some.
It's not definitive.
Grotesque things.
It's not. First of all, I don't.
I mean, if you want to win the Big 12 title, you got to put,
I think it's not definitive, but if we're almost ranking people 4 games into the season, and they've played head to head, and the records are similar, you usually would give the edge to the person who's won head to head.
Yeah,
I don't like it, but I'm a man of integrity.
Yeah,
kind of,
just a tad.
Kind.
So Tech's a contender for you?
I think they're low end contender. Yes,
they're all right.
Yeah. You have them high end pretender?
I don't know where I have them. They're in purgatory for me.
Contender purgatory.
Contender, pretender, purgatory. Which is really just a weird place. It's a weird place. You don't want to be there.
Weird place to be.
Yeah. Washington State also lives there. Just in college football, eternity. So a couple programs actually do.
So we got 2 left.
2 left.
Kansas is easy.
Pretender.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because we thought they were contenders.
Yeah, we were wrong.
Hey, we don't get a lot of stuff wrong, but we were wrong about that. We were hand up. I was really wrong about Jalen Daniels.
Very wrong.
That guy is not sniffing the NFL.
Yeah, that was very, very
They're
wrong.
really bad. They're really bad at football. Like, not good at all.
No.
They're going to be really good at basketball. That's a team's fan base that should be like, thank God, basketball season right around the corner.
What about Kansas State, though?
Well, you see, when, I don't want to bring it up again, but when you got other fan bases, doing things with Mexican food, or I guess, no, it was a Kansas State fan that was like, I will do X, Y, and Z if they lose, and they lost. You can't have your fan base really toying with the football gods like that. We saw it at Florida State, and their season's
determines
been,
if you're a pretender or
do
contender.
Not piss off the football gods. Do not do that. You saw it at Florida State. Homie still hasn't, done what he's got to do. I'm not going to say that. And I haven't seen the burrito go anywhere yet. So, Kansas State's going to be a pretender until they do it.
I think that person tweeted a picture of a bag.
They did. No, it was a video. I saw it. They got themselves a 7-layer burrito, threw it in their fridge.
Oh. I think Kansas State's a contender.
You think they're a contender?
I think they're a contender.
I think they're a contender as long as homeboy that bought the burrito does what he said he was going to do with it.
A contender with, what's it called? Like an asterisk.
And the asterisk says,
you must put the burrito someplace unholy.
Well, no, really holy.
Oh my gosh.
Oscar in the chat, I'm a Tech fan and not ready to call them a contender yet.
If we're splitting it half and half, they're right on the border. Arizona State, Texas Tech, Colorado, all on the border of contender pretender, no matter which way you lean.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Where do you have Arizona State?
Okay, let's list everything off, okay? Contenders: Utah, BYU, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, UCF, Texas Tech, coming in at 8th. Mm-hmm. The last contender, Arizona State University.
You go. Now tell me why.
Tell me why. I mean, you mentioned it. The defense is good. They've obviously overperformed from people's expectations. They've battled through a lot of injuries. Sam Leavitt continues to get better as the season goes on. I know that he made some mistakes against Texas Tech, but I just think overall he's becoming more comfortable. I don't think this team has played their best football besides maybe against Wyoming, right? But other than that, I don't think that they've hit the heights that they can hit. They have a lot of mistakes that they are able to clean up, and I think they will. I think they will continue to get better as the season goes on. I know it's kind of weird to tell them, they're contenders or whatever, but they are pretty close to pretenders. The next couple of weeks, especially Kansas, I think it was BC who was in the chat earlier, who's like, Kansas is kind of a must-win game. Mm-hmm. It's a must-win game if you want to continue to be taken seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
In the Big 12.
I agree.
And so being on the border of contender or pretender does mean that this game against Kansas, it means a lot.
It does mean a lot.
And I think that's a rightful place for ASU to be. And I think ASU fans should be happy about that. Yeah. That's where I stand.
Well said, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
I agree with you.
Well, we also agree on one other thing that we're going to talk about on the other side. But first, a quick break. Neutral. I'm not neutral. I'm neutral.
Tasty.
No, I'm a big fan. Because they are keeping it tasty in Tempe. It's a public service announcement for all seltzer lovers. Because you want something real, not fake, not artificial. No. You want simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. It tastes good. It is good. Ooh, and it'll make you feel good.
Facts.
Look, we got some neutrals back here.
We were drinking them on the post game. I'm
really sad. That's another reason why I'm sad I missed the last post game, because I didn't get to have a lovely neutral. I'm still waiting to taste the orange, but they have other flavors like pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, and more. We do have orange ones in the office.
You know what the orange tastes like?
Orange.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Yeah.
That's sick. Even more excited now. And nothing goes better with college football. Nothing goes better with PHNX Sun Devils than a nice neutral vodka seltzer. So keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. A 2024 Anheuser-Busch neutral product, flavored vodka and carbonation out of St. Louis, Missouri.
I love it. I also love saving money, to be completely honest with you. And look, our friends over at Circle K, well, they are doing it right with their free membership program called Inner Circle. Easy to download. Literally takes less than 60 seconds. You could do it while we're telling you about it right now. Just enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled, and that is after you download the app. And after that, all you're going to need is your phone number to start getting those deals. And we're talking about deals on drinks, on snacks, and on gas. Gas feels like it's so expensive these days wherever you go, but Circle K, they are doing their part to make it affordable, guys. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then every day after that, there's an offer to save money as well. Save 3 cents per gallon, literally every single day. Plus, enjoy member-exclusive beverage deals all up inside that Inner Circle app. Guys, join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Didn't you say we were going to say something about Circle K? Like some sort of Circle K story earlier in the show? Did that not happen? Am I hallucinating?
I think I don't remember.
Am I hallucinating, Redbeard?
No, you're not.
Yeah, what did he say?
Was there a Circle K story?
You were saying something about eating worms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, while he opens, I'm going to read a super chat from AZ Cats G for the $2. Thank you. He said, good afternoon, guys. Good seeing you guys earlier today. Thank you, AZ Cats G.
That was a great throw. I wasn't even aiming for his mouth.
You weren't? What were you aiming
I
for
was
then?
aiming for him to catch it and eat it.
Okay, can you just hand me one?
Yeah, some of these are stuck together.
This is great podcasting.
Dude, shut up, man. Did you read the super chat?
Mm-hmm. So you're not even paying attention to me.
Oh, man.
No, those are good.
I haven't had candy in years.
It's been a minute. Wait, hold up. You haven't had candy in years?
No. It is really good.
For real?
Yeah,
I don't eat candy that often either, but years is crazy.
It's probably been 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Who hurt you?
Candy is so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that away from you.
It's so good.
I think you just relapsed live on air.
Okay. One second. I got it.
Want to go talk about something serious now?
Yeah, go ahead. You can start it.
Yeah, which one of these coaches in the Big 12 is most likely to get fired? It's a hot seat segment, baby. And one thing that we agree on, man, those worms are
So good.
they're making me salivate.
Oh, my Lord.
Baylor fans are salivating at the moment that Dave Aranda will no longer be
Yeah, they're
the
ready
head
for him to
coach
get gone.
of their football program. We each picked 2 coaches. I had a hard time deciding my second.
Really?
Yeah, I had a hard time.
I feel like there's definitely a lot of fireable coaches.
I think there's 3 legitimate options. I think we each picked one of them, and I think there's a third that's not being mentioned.
Dave Aranda.
Okay. 3 beyond Dave Aranda.
Okay.
I think Dave Aranda is clearly the number 1. We both agree. Your second person,
Brennan.
which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I think, again, we said it really all offseason. If you can't win with Totri McMillan, the best wide receiver that's ever come to Arizona and one of, the best quarterbacks for the Wildcats over the last 20 years, if you can't win with those 2 guys, you can't win with a first-round DB. If you can't win with a arguably first 2-round offensive tackle, if you can't win with those guys, then you're not going to be able to win point-blank, period. And I think, again, if they don't turn it around this season, T-Mac's already gone. He's going to the NFL draft. Sicario Davis, he's gone as well. Noah Fafita, this is what you're playing for. You're playing to retain that guy for another season. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't able to win now, he is gone, and so is Brent Brennan, because the fan base is going to be up in arms about it.
I asked a Wildcats fan if Brent Brennan would be fired after the season. They seem pretty confident it would be a no. So I feel like he's safe this season, but if you get into next season and he starts struggling, I think that seat's really hot. I think you can make an argument for him to come in about 4th or 5th as far as like hot seat rankings. I do think Dave Aranda's first. I think 2 names ahead of him. Sonny Dykes out of TCU.
Yeah.
And Lance Leopold in Kansas.
Interesting.
Listen, if Kansas has...
If they continue to be bad?
If they continue to be this bad. I don't know if he gets fired this year, but I think it's the same way like Brent Brennan, where you go into an entire offseason with talk about a hot seat, and then you start off 0-3.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're gone.
Bye-bye.
I think Dave Aranda's gone this season. I think there's a chance Sonny Dykes is gone this season, depending on how TCU continues to play. I think Brent Brennan and Lance Leopold are looking at next season for legitimate hot seat talks, but I don't know if I can think of another team's coach.
Houston.
But I don't think there's expectations there. I don't think he'll get fired this year.
When did he get hired?
Really recently.
Like this year recent or last year recent? If he got hired last year and they're this bad this
Willie
year.
Fritz was named head coach December 3rd, 2023.
So
not even a year. Like this, he's going to get at least this year plus probably some of next. Like he was taking over a good program.
Unless they lose out.
Depends.
You got to win one game. Have they won a game yet?
Yeah, they've won a game. I'm pretty sure they've won a game.
Okay, but if they haven't?
Why do I not know if they've won a game or not? I feel like they won early in the season. Yeah, they beat Rice. They lost 27-7 to UNLV. They lost 16-12 to Oklahoma, which is crazy. 33-7 over Rice, and then they lose 34-0 to Cincinnati. Cincinnati 34-0'd them, and they went 16-12 against then number 15 Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Willie Fritz won't get fired this year.
That's fair.
Williams as Cincy coach on the seat. They've had an okay enough season so far to where if they can continue and win 5 or 6 games. They just got to be
average, I think.
Yeah, they can win 5 or 6 games. He'll probably be fine. And then going into next year, if you don't improve on that. I think a lot of these are looking next year's. I think Colorado's on the hot seat with Deion.
Yeah, I think, No, that's a fair way to put it.
Really maybe not the other, not the usual way of a hot seat. But I think Dave Aranda's easy number 1. I think Sonny Dykes to me is kind of an easy number 2. I just don't see Admitting failure and defeat with Brennan for Arizona would be so embarrassing after 1 year. You kind of have to give him a second year to just see if it can get better.
I guess that's fair. That's a fair way to put it.
That's what I think, at least. But what do you guys think?
Let us know, guys. Also, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review. Make sure you're here tomorrow at 1:30 because we got our full interview with Todd Graham dropping at 1:30. Again, 40 minutes of fun. It is definitely must-watch podcasting, okay? Get after it tomorrow at 1:30 here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell everybody. Tell everybody to be here at 1:30, guys. That is going to do it for today's show. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the man to my right, your left. That is the hall monitor at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You could follow the man steering the ship, Captain Redbeard, at K Coop Sports.
I don't get to do it as much anymore. I'm sorry.
We will see you tomorrow. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.